Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of Hangar Control with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and today we're doing a much requested video which is almost a full configuration setup with the TBM 850. I'll be showing you guys a ton of things, everything from single pressed L-Vars, A-Vars, how to handle them, how to use circuit entries, you name it. We're going to be going through a lot in this particular video. So it's going to be a bit of a long one, guys, but I hope you guys find it useful. And if you're interested in trying out Hangar Control, make sure you go to overkillsimulations.com, check on the Hangar Control tab. If it sounds like something you want to try for 5 days for free, be sure to create an account and then you can download the software. And if you're interested in just supporting the project, there's been tons of changes based almost entirely on community feedback, and more to come, more advancements to come. So if you guys are interested in supporting that, be sure to join the Discord. And if you're feeling just a little bit gifty, go ahead and buy it and join the ride. So stay tuned. If you are interested in any of my tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. Alright folks, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to go straight into starting the service. We're going to assume that we've already created a Microsoft Flight Simulator profile. Now, we've got some TBM 850 bindings here. I've already been playing around with this. Obviously, this is my test platform, so we've had a bunch going here, but I've cleared all of the bindings. We're going to be starting with the Bravo. Let's go ahead and, oop, what did I hit? I hit the wrong button is what I hit. Let's go Shift C. In case you guys are wondering, Shift V brings up that camera thing. Okay, so let's just start with the basics. We're going to get right into it. Okay, I'm going to move Hangar Control over a little bit here so it's not taking up quite as much space. And we're going to start with the parking brake. We want to make sure our parking brake is set. So let's just grab our first switch here on the Bravo. Okay, for some reason I thought that wasn't registering, but it is. All right, so 34 and 35. 34 is going to be parking brake on, 35 will be off. So let's get right into it. We're going to click our button. And we're going to go to Browse Events. And we should be able to just go Park. There's parking brake set. I'm going to go ahead and give it a value of 1. Hit OK. Here, you can hit OK again. Make sure our value is entered here. And hit Save. Give it a test. There's our parking brake set. And what did we say? 35 is off. So we're just going to go right back in again. Find our parking brake set one more time. This time we're going to make sure it's 0 for off. And anything with a K event, you're always going to have either 1 or 2 with a K event. Okay, don't worry about B events, L events. We're not talking about those yet. Just K event. This is also called a key event, also known more commonly as a SIM connect event. Okay, so we're just going to go 0. And again, hit OK because we can't do anything else with a K event. And save. And now this is going to be on again, which we already are. Hit off. Boom, boom. All right, got our parking brakes. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is we're going to move on up here, and we're going to take one switch and we're going to create a sequence. The sequence is going to lift up the crash bar, set our source to battery, and our generator to main. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to make that our next switch on over here. And you know what I think we're also going to do with that one, just to add a little bit more fun to it, we're also going to add the nav lights. Let's turn those strobe lights off. We're going to add the nav lights on here just to sort of indicate that the aircraft has power, right? So we're going to do all 4 of those events with a single switch. So we're going to be using 38 and 39 for this one. Oh, wait. Sorry, that's not true. 36 and 37. My big old fingers was picking the wrong thing. So 36 is going to be on. Let the games begin. Now, with the TBM Black Square 850, let's back that up. How about the Black Square TBM 850? Pretty much everything is run on L-Vars. And if it's not run on L-Vars, it's going to be running on a SIM connect. Like, for example, you guys are going to learn a lot with this particular section here, the Gyro, the RMI, and the ADI and HSI, but we'll get to that in a minute. So the nice thing about L-Vars is L-Vars with the WASM module gives us the ability to just pull it from the aircraft. There's no catalog that has to be built. If the L-Var exists in the aircraft, we can automatically see it. There's no special action, so that makes it nice. So L-Vars are actually really a great way to go. I wish more events were based around L-Vars with most aircraft. So let's clear this. And we're just going to set to L-Vars because we know right away that's what we want. And we're just going to look for a crash, for the crash bar. Now, I will say that one thing that gets a little confusing with Black Square is there are some events that you guys are going to see that say Black Square or BKSQ. And there are some that he did that are just VARs. Okay, so this is one of the ones that's just VARs. Now, just like with SimConnect, if you have a 2-stage item, a variable is going to have 1 and 0. However, if you have a 3-stage item or 4-stage item, those numbers can obviously increase 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So let's go ahead and move forward. And I guess my SimConnect event wasn't entirely accurate either. It's not just 0 or 1s. That's not true either because you have things like the magneto switches. But anyway, I digress. So with the L-Var, we want to set the first value to the on position, which is going to be 1. And the cool thing about L-Vars is we can actually see them live. You can see what the current state is. So if we set the value to 1 here and we hit execute, we can see it go. If we change this down to 0 here and hit execute, we can see it come back down. So we know that we're triggering the on position. So we're going to hit 1 and we're going to hit save. And we're going to hit save again. And then 37 we know is going to be 0. So we're going to go browse events. Should take us right back to the crash bar if you give it a second. It's got to reload it. And this time we're going to take this one to 0 and hit save and save again. Go to our second switch. Oops, I keep hitting the wrong damn one. There we go. Boom and boom. But that's not what we want to do. That showed you guys how to use an L-Var, but now let's show you guys how to make a sequence. So we're going to do something completely different now. We're going to clear these. This is where this gets fun. We're going to come up here, we're going to add press, and we're going to choose sequence. And be careful not to choose step. Step is every time you push the button, it does something different. Sequence is when I push it once, it's going to do everything in the sequence line. Okay, so we're going to add a sequence, hit OK. I like to clear the previous action, just to keep things nice and clean, easy to read. So now we're going to come down to our sequences. We're going to repeat those steps. We're going to choose SimConnect. We're going to go to Edit. And there's our crash bar again. I'm going to do this one quite a bit faster because you guys already saw how this part's done. We want 1, so we're going to hit Save and Close. And now we're going to add our next line. Now here, you can change the delay between actions. Right now, the default is 100 milliseconds, okay? So essentially 1/10 of a second is what that comes down to. All right. So we're going to leave that as the default. It should be fine. But if you ever find that certain actions aren't triggering, like let's say you have 5 actions and maybe 3 of them are actually pulling, increase that time a little bit, maybe 200 to 500 milliseconds depending on what the action is. Like DCS World, for example, the closer you get to these, and you can do this with anything, keyboard commands, whatever. But the closer you get, sometimes it won't register the command. So if you ever find that happening, try increasing this number a little bit. Go in, I would say, no less than hundreds. Okay. So there's 1. Now we're going to add another one. And just like before, these are going to be an L-Var event. And this time we're going to be looking for source, because it's the source switch. And like, for example, there it is, the Black Square source switch. Now again, you're going to have 0 for off, 1 for battery, 2 for GPU. So in our case, we just want on this switch, we want 1. So we're going to go save and close again. And then we're going to add another step. Again, SimConnect. Go to our edit. And this one's going to be our generator switch. And there it is again, Black Square generator switch. And again, we want 1. We want main. So we're going to go save and close. And we said the last one that we were going to add was the nav lights. This one, we just want a regular old SimConnect event. So we're going to come out of L-Vars, go to SimConnect, look for nav_lights. You can already see it. Nav lights on. There it is. Save. Now when we flip the switch, let's watch the magic happen. So we should see our crash bar go up, battery or source to battery, generator to main, nav lights on. Here we go. Boom, look at that. All actions took place. Now let's rinse and repeat on 37, bringing everything back down, right? So I do recommend when you're doing that is you want to bring them down in the order in which, or the reverse order, right? If you wanted things to be accurate. Now you could technically just bring the crash bar down and that should take out the other 2 switches, but I've seen sometimes that doesn't always work. It's not always how it would be in real life, but we can test it if you want. Let's go ahead and see what happens with that. So let's just add the step. sim connect, edit. Let's find our crash bar again. L-Var, because we're not going to add the nav lights to this one because we may not want to do that. It'll really depends to you guys, I guess. We could add the nav lights. But let's just try setting this to 0 and let's see what happens. We're just going to execute that as a test and see. Glorious world of simulation events. Crash bar comes down, but it didn't bring down the other two. Boop! There we go. But we're going to make it. So let's hit save and close here. And we're going to move this down later. We can just leave that. We don't have to rewrite it. So we're going to go sim connect event. Let's bring this so where we can see everything. There we go. So again, a sim connect event. And this time we want to add the generator switch. And just like before, again, I'm going to go a little bit faster. Oops. My big fingers hit the enter key a little too soon. And then we're going to add our step again. Sim connect, edit. It's going to be the source switch, right? And if you really want to, like I said, let's get this back down where it goes. So we're going to go L-Var down. There's a crash bar one more time. So we want that at the end, right? Now we're going to go add step, sim connect, edit, and we wanted our nav lights, right? Now, it's not finding anything. It's because we're still on L-Vars. So let's go back to sim connect. There we go. Nav lights off. Save all. And bringing it down. Doot, doot, doot. Boom. So now, come bring it on. Take it off. Awesome sauce, right? Fun stuff. Now, I'm going to show you guys real quick the gyros and the ADI. Now, to do that, we need the Black Square documentation. Now, not everyone does. Now, eventually, guys, as time goes on, I'm going to be building a catalog just like everybody else does. One thing I want to tell you guys, when you guys go through other softwares and maybe you're used to seeing certain things, I actually saw an event like that today where it happened to be with the G1000 range knob. The verbiage that you'll see on some applications, whether it be Axis and O, SPAD.NX, MobiFlight, the verbiage that you see on the screen may not match the command that's actually being sent to the simulator. Okay, so don't just assume that because you see a command in one software that you can bring it over to Hangar Control or bring it from SPAD to MobiFlight or whatever it may be, because they may not always line up. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to show you guys through the documentation is what we're going to be using today. So I'm going to bring this over here so you guys can see it. So here is our gyroscope, or our gyro switch, not gyroscope, our RMI, our ADI2, HSI2. You can see what they're on. Circuit switch on 57, 58, 59, and 60. Okay, and then you can have the auto fuel selector too, okay, on 40. I'm going to show you guys how you enter these. It's actually kind of cool. I actually just learned this a couple days ago, so this is kind of fun for me to play around with. So what we're going to do now, we're going to pick another switch. Now I'm trying to do things in sequence here. This is going to be a little out of sequence for what we're doing, but let's see here. So if I'm doing this, let me think about my flow. It's been a while since I've flown the TBM. So we're doing, let's see here, crash bar, battery, then nav lights. That brings everything on. Then we're going to want our FS. That way we have our engine gauges. So that's going to be switch number 3. From there, actually, I guess that would be a good place to come back up and do an engine start. So, you know what? We'll come, well, all right. So that would be starter and ignition can go on that one. Sorry guys, I'm sort of plotting this out here. I don't normally bind buttons quite in this fashion. So let's see here. Let's just walk through this real quick. Ooh, what am I doing? There's that. That's 1 and 2. 3 and 4. Here we would want the FS on 38 and 39. And actually, let's do another sequence because we could do FS. And then we could do ignition to either on or auto. It's only a 2-stage switch, so we'll probably just throw it to auto. That should still work. And I think that would be good for that. Okay, because we don't want these until after engine start technically. So let's do that next, and then we'll come back around. Okay, so, all right. So there we go. There's that. And so now we're going to do the ignition switch to the auto position and the FS master switch on. Okay, so let's do that. So that's going to be on 38 and 39. Okay, because let's see here, right? Yeah. So 38, let's do another sequence. So we're going to add a press type, go to a sequence, hit OK. We're going to go a little bit faster through this one. You're like, guys are probably like, thank God, he keeps talking. So we're going to go to sequence, add step again, sim connect, and I believe the ignition switch is an L-Var with this aircraft. And again, in his documentation, it's all there, but there it is, ignition switch. Now again, this is a 3-stage switch, but we're going to mess with 0 and 1. So for 31, we're going to want 1. I'm just going to leave that on there. And then we also decided on the FS. So we're going to add step again. I believe that is also an L-Var of his. FS power switch, there it is. And we're going to set that to 1. Okay, and we're going to hit save all here. I'm going to bring that switch down and let's find out. We should see both toggles. So there's that one, and it did toggle indeed. So now let's get down to 39 and let's turn those back off in case we want, right? So we're going to go to browse events, and this doesn't really matter, but so we're already here, right? So let's just go to L-Vars. You can see it's already searching for Elvis. I almost said Elvis. All right, let's change that to 0. I don't know why that amused me so much. Maybe because it's midnight here, but you know. So there it is. Change that to 0, and oh, I forgot one. That's not what we wanted to do. Let's go to add press type. Hope you guys caught that. You're like, dude, you're doing it wrong. It's your own software and you're doing it wrong. Let's remove the action. Again, I like to keep things clean. So now we're going to go back in here again. Go to L-Vars again. Find the power switch. Set it to 0. And save. And I just did it wrong again. Gosh, Michael. Add step. There. 3rd time's a charm. What is wrong with this guy? There we go. Add step. And then we said ignition. And we'll also turn that to 0. And save. Okay, so now we flip that down. There's off. And you can see the switch went down. Let's flip back on. There it is. Goes up. And back down. Okay, so now we're ready. So let's see here. We have our parking brake set, crash bar battery source, ignition, and FS. And you can see the FS came to life. So that's perfect. And I think the other thing that we could probably add to this, honestly, is the fuel selector if we wanted to. Set that from manual to auto. And I know that I believe it's supposed to be on startup, on manual for startup, but let's go ahead and just add it. So for 38, I love this. It's kind of fun. Let's just add one more to it, just to clean things up. We've only got so many switches to work with on the Bravo, right? So let's do one more, and we're gonna look for fuel. L-Var fuel stop. Black Square fuel pump switch. That's the boost pump. That's not quite what we're looking for, although we could add that too. L-Var fuel select timer, fuel select clog. That might be on. Yep, it is. So we're going to learn something again with this one. All right, well, we can get the boost pump. So let's get the boost pump switch in here while we're here. All right, so again, you have 0, 1, and 2. So this is a 3-position switch. So you're going to have on the boost pump, you're going to have 1 or 0, 1, and 2. So we're going to go straight to 2 on this one. So we're going to add that, and we're going to set that to 2. Save and close. And let's see here, what switch was that? Wrong one. Oh, helps if I hit save. There we go. And we have not added that to the off position yet, so let's get that added there. So let's add step, sim connect, edit, fuel pump switch to 0. Boom, there we go. Now, the fuel selector. Let's go back to our documentation from Black Square here. Auto fuel selector switch. So this is actually going to be the first part. This actually worked out perfectly because now you guys are going to see how these are done. Okay, so to set this, what we're going to do is we're going to pay attention to this number right here, 40. And the same thing goes for these, 60, 59, 58, and 57. These are A-Vars or SIM-Vars, but they can be triggered through this, a SIM-Connect event called Circuit Switch. Now, I want to show you guys something that exists in some old catalogs that doesn't work anymore. It will be removed out of this one today. But you guys will see something in here today that does not exist. Oh, let me remove that. I thought we had that done. Sorry, guys. I wasn't recording, and I thought I was, is why that was there. So, little sneak peek. What we're going to do here is we're going to go to Add Step, SIM Connect, Edit, and we're going to look for Circuit under all types, but it's a K event if you really want to narrow it down. Now you can see these two, electrical circuit off and on. They do not work. Ignore these. They are going to be removed tonight before this version ships out. So when you guys see this, this will be like 1.82. That is what, these will be gone. The only one you care about is right here, electrical circuit toggle. And in case anyone's wondering, this is the same for other softwares, at least that I have seen so far. It has to, Microsoft has to support it. My understanding is they only support toggle. But what we're interested in is the value. So we want 40. So we're going to hit OK there. This is our on switch. So we're going to hit save. You can see electrical circuit toggle 40. So we hit save. Now if we come down here and we find our switch again, hoping I flipped the right one this time. Nope. Boom, there you go. So now let's set 39. Let's add it to toggle it back off. So we're going to add step, SIM Connect, and that's any aircraft. Any aircraft that you see where a value is like that, this is what it's wanting. So as long as the documentation supports it. So again, we're going to add 40. We know that one's 40. Hit OK, hit save, flip that same switch down, and we're back to where we were. Okay. All right, making some progress here. So now that that's out of the way, let's come on down here and let's start taking a look at some axis bindings. So first, we know we want our throttle. And you know what? Before I get into that, let's see. Oh, wow, Microsoft's actually leaving me alone today. We're going to go to Add. We're going to go to SIM Connect. We're going to do some fun stuff with the axis today. Just wait, guys. This is going to be pretty cool. Wait till we get to the condition lever and the flaps lever. So we're going to go to Throttle. Underscore set. We want throttle set, this one right here. Use axis range 0 to 100% and hit save, and let's make sure we got some throttle action. We do. Next, let's find our pitch, add, SIM Connect, pick, and I think it's prop pitch, if I remember correctly. Prop underscore pitch. Yep. And again, looking for set. There it is, right there. And save again after we use axis. Boom, it already moved back to the position. Finally, condition lever. This one's going to be fun. Well, not finally, but next one. So this one is an L-Var. And we know that, again, just because I'm obsessed with the Black Square aircraft, so I'm very familiar with it, but it's also in his documentation. And we can also find it simply by searching. So we're going to go add, SIM Connect, pick. We're just going to automatically change to L-Vars. And we're going to look for, what was this one? Condition. And there it is, Black Square condition lever. Now, we have 3 different stages, so check this out. We're going to do this actually a little bit different. Okay, so it just dawned on me what we've got. You notice that I didn't start by hitting use axis range. So we're going to hit OK. And actually, we're going to keep this at 0. I'm going to show you why in a second. Remember, you can execute and all that, but we're not going to worry about that. So what I want to do is I want to go between here. We're going to segment my axis here. And we're going to do 0 to 33%. Okay, we want it to execute in both directions. We're not going to use the axis range, and we want to hit save. Actually, we weren't done there, sorry. Now we're going to add another line, go between, and let's make this one 34 to, what would that be? Call it 67 just to be fun. SIM Connect, pick, go back to our condition lever, and this one's going to be 1. You guys see what I'm doing here? I'm breaking up the axis. So between this range, it will trigger this action. Between this range, so forth. And we're going to do one more. And this one is going to be between 68, and you guessed it, just go 100%. Sim connect, pick, wait for that condition lever to populate, and this will be 2. Because it has 3 positions. And now when we hit save, boom, it already moved. And that's the wrong one. There we go. And now boom, boom, and boom. Coming back down. Perfect, right? Now let's have some fun with the flap switch. The flap switch gets even more interesting. So let's see if I can remember how to move the damn camera around in this thing. Nope, that's not it. Control Shift. Nope. D. Gosh, there we go. And then what is it? Control Shift Q. W. I hate the controls in this thing. There we go. That'll work. As long as everyone can see the flap switch. So with the flap switch, we're going to keep that on an axis too. We're going to do something a little different here. So first, we're going to set our flaps. That part's easy. We're going to go to pick. Come off the L-Vars. Go to flaps. Oops. Learn how to spell. Flaps, I think it's just set. There it is. We're going to use axis range, but here's where it gets different. We're going to uncheck that, and we're going to do 0 to 90%. Because we're going to segment it again. And when we hit save, so let's make sure you guys can see our flaps are working, but it's inverted. So let's go ahead and do this. Go to axis tune and just invert that. Now we got our full axis range, right? But we want to talk about that 90 to 95 to 90 to 100% that we were doing. Now is where this is going to get cool. We want the 850 mode. So I'm going to go to add again. We're going to leave this just like this, but now we're going to go between, and wait for it, this is going to get weird, 95. We're not going to use that 90 yet. 95 to 100%. We're going to go sim connect. We're going to go to pick. We're going to go back to our L-Vars. You guessed it. We're going to type 850. And there's 850 mode. From 0 or from 95 to 100%, we want that 850 mode on. So we're going to hit save. And then coming back down, right, from 90 to 94%, we want 850 mode off. So now's where we're going to go between. And we're just going to look for 90 to 94. Sim connect, pick. There's our 850 mode. Hit OK. And we want 0 here. And you can put these in whatever order you want. It doesn't matter. That was just the way that I was breaking it down mentally in my head. And now check it out. When we go forward, 850 mode. Come down just a hair. Flaps up. Takeoff. Landing. We're taking off. We're rolling down the runway. Yep, we're in takeoff mode. Gear comes up. Flaps come up, right? Everything's cleaned up. We're past our 1,000 feet and we're ready for that 850 horses. Pop it on in. 850 mode. We're good to go. Coming back down the descent. Bring it out. Easy peasy stuff, guys. And it's so much fun. And there's so many other ways that you can do that. I hope you guys have fun with it. Experiment with it. Make it yours, right? Control the experience. That's what we're all about here. I guess let's get all of these guys up. I guess where we're at now. So let's get that. Would be the last switch here for me, I think. So that's going to be 40 and 41. So after the engine start, because we're going to need the starter switch. I guess we can add the starter switch if you guys think we should. But then we're running a little low on switches. But I think we'll do the starter switch we'll do it ourselves, right? I think that's a better way to do that. But let's get the gyros and everything going. So here we go. Switch number 40. We're going to do another sequence. So sim connect. Nope. Almost did it. Almost did it again. There we go. Single press. Let's remove this action. Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. So now we're on our sequence again. So now here we go again. Let's bring back the documentation for this one. 57, 58, 59, and 60. Wow. So add step. It's going to be real quick. I'm not going to go in too slow on this one. We want K events. And we want that circuit, toggle. Remember, we want circuit toggle. The other one does not, on and off does not work. So circuit toggle, and hey, excuse me. There it goes. That was weird. It wasn't letting me edit that. Circuit toggle. This is 57. Yep. There we go. And then add step. Circuit toggle. Oh, damn it. That was my fault. I double clicked it. And we want, what, 58? Add step. Sim connect. 59. Add step. Toggle. 60. Okay, save all. Just for testing and grins, let's flip it. Boom! And now let's turn them off. That should be 41. Oh, uh-oh. Let's do that again. There we go. That's the only problem with toggles is if you get them out of sequence, they can be a pain in the butt. So now we want single press again. And a little tidbit what you guys can do temporarily is if you ever run into that situation, you need to flip the switch back down, and it's a toggle, you can stop the service, flip your switch down, then start the service back up. You should be back to normal. But let's remove the single press action. Go to our sequences and rinse and repeat, right? Sim connect, edit, toggle. We're just going to go backwards. 60. Add step. Boom. There we go. Okay. Well, guys, I think we're ready for engine start at least. Anything I'm missing? Inertial separator wouldn't come on until after engine start. If you needed to, you could set your avionics master. That would bring on radio 1 even with the engine off. But I think that's going to work for me. So let's see what we get here. So we got our parking brake set. I'm going to move Hangar Control out of the way now. Okay, there's our lights. Ignition and fuel. Okay. And let's see here. We want our prop full forward. We're going to go ahead and flip that starter. For that 13%. Oop, wrong one. Uh-oh. There we go. Induce that fuel. Looking for that 53. There it is. Oop, wrong switch. Turn the starter off. Let's get our gyros on. All right, and we have a running airplane. So now, let's come back over here again. And let's take a look at what's our next switch here. 42 and 43. Let's make 42. What do we need still? Autopilot master and radio master. Let's go ahead and flip both those on just for show and tell, all right? Well, let's do... We should probably actually do avionics master on its own, don't you think? See, how many switches... Well, no, I've only got 3 switches left, and we still need our lights, our last 2 set of lights. So let's do... We'll do autopilot and autopilot master and radio master on the same one. So again, doing another sequence. A lot of sequences today. But the process is the same no matter how you do it, right? If you want to do it on a single switch, the process would be the same. You would just select what you want. Add step, sim connect, edit, and I think for him, if we go down to your Black Square, look at L-Vars, autopilot master switch. There it is. So let's flip that to, what do we have? Autopilot off and on. We're just going to go straight to on. So we're going to go to 2 and 1. So this, in this case, or 2 and 0. So there's that. We're going to add one more. And I believe, again, the radio switch is also radio master switch. There it is. And that one is just an on and an off. Okay, let's go ahead and flip it. Oh, helps when you hit save. There we go. Radio's coming alive. Let's go to 43. Reverse the process, right? So add press type, sequence, add glaze. Here, remove action, save, go. Add, sim connect, edit. There's the radio master switch. We're going to set that to 0. Add another one. And this time we are looking for, what was it? The autopilot master, right? I just scroll up, I guess. Oh, let's look for Black Square. There we go. Save. And now, if you want to flip that one off. Perfect. Absolutely golden. Inertial separator, same thing. It's in the L-Vars. I'll tell you that, guys, right now. We're going to skip that for now. I think the last thing that we're going to do here, but I will throw it on just so we don't break our engine. I don't remember the sound of that thing coming on. So I have taxi lights and landing lights. Strobe lights, we're going to have to do that manually. We'll decide how I want to do that. I guess technically you could add it, because I think they use the strobe lights or the pulse lights, one of them as a beacon light in replacement or in lieu of, right? But you guys know how to do lights. So let's play around with something else here. Actually, I really guess that's it. I want to save the autopilot switch. That's going to be a whole nother video specifically on the Bravo. That will be out tomorrow as well. Or today, I guess. Even though it's Thanksgiving, it will be out today. But that one's a little bit more involved, and we're going to be doing flags and things. But I wanted to show you guys the basis of this aircraft. I mean, obviously got landing gear. That's going to be just like it always is. So it's, we can hit our landing gear real quick. Nothing fancy about it. We can just do gear. There's gear down, gear up. So this one is, I believe, gear down. Oh, nope, that was supposed to be gear up. This one's gear down. There we go. Probably shouldn't do that on the ground, but wanted to show you guys it was working. All right, and then of course, you know, you have your flight stick. This was supposed to be done with my new Alpha, but it didn't get here until very late today. So we're just going to use the flight stick for today. Save changes. And come back here, and where are you? That one? X, add, sim connect, pick. Ailerons. Oop, Ailers. Aileron set. Use axis range. And actually, I'm sorry, that's not right. We want axis aileron set. And we can even do that. There we go. And that is inverted. I have noticed that there's quite a few controls that you have to invert right now. I'm trying to figure that out. It has to do with the library service that we're using. It needs a little bit more refinement, but that's minor. And elevator. Just keep that essentials on, makes it real nice. Axis elevator set. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to invert that one too, so might as well do it now. Save. And boom. Look at that. And so now, if we get this guy out of the way, for today, taxi lights, if you've done it on one plane, you've done it on them all, right? Let's turn our pressurization. Our stall heaters. And something I forgot to show you guys before we get out of here. For the basics here. Axis right brake set. Axis left brake set. Axis rudder set. Make sure you check use axis range as you normally would. And we're ready to roll. I know we don't have all of that on. I believe it's what right there. Oh, no, wrong button. Why did I do that? That was stupid. But anyways, guys, I hope that answers most of your questions as far as binding the TBM 850. The process for everything else is pretty much the same. But yeah, let me know if you guys need any further clarification on how to bind this beautiful bird. And then there will be another video coming out tomorrow afternoon that will be for the autopilot specifically. And we'll use the TBM 850, but it'll be the autopilot with the Bravo throttle quadrant. So stay tuned for that video. Again, I hope you guys consider supporting Hangar Control. Check me out at overkillsimulations.com. And there's a free 5-day trial. Just don't forget you must register to the site first. As always, guys, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.